Coming up, the presidential election is heating up for both candidates as November fast approaches.
Plus, the latest on this morning's deadly plane crash in Pakistan. All this coming up on District News Now.
Hello and welcome to District News Now. I'm Matt LaFemina.
And I'm Lauren Landau.
With 6 months until November's presidential elections, the race seems to be neck and neck between President Obama and expected Republican nominee Mitt Romney. A CNN poll of polls, combining 4 recent voter polls released on Wednesday, shows that 47% of registered voters support Obama, with 45% supporting Romney. Meanwhile, both campaigns are reaching out to Latino voters. On Wednesday, Obama launched an aggressive national effort to rally Latino supporters. This could help him carry key states like Colorado, Florida, and Nevada. Romney is holding a rally in Tempe, Arizona, a city with a large Latino population.
With the presidential election heating up, the Obama campaign is focusing on some key security issues. Trey Dyer has more on this story.
With the November presidential election fast approaching, the Obama campaign is planning to amp up national security as a campaign issue. At the George Washington Elliott School of International Affairs, over 200 people gathered for the 2012 Challenge Accepted conference to discuss U.S. national security, the upcoming presidential election, and foreign policy. Panelists for the event included National Security Advisor to President Obama's re-election campaign, Michelle Flournoy, members of D.C. NGOs, and more. Former congressional candidate and CIA agent Matt Zeller says although usually dominated by Republican candidates, President Obama's policies on national security will be a major benefit come election time.
I don't think you can at this point claim that this president has not been strong on foreign policy and strong on national security. He took a very, very, very sound command decision that showed a lot of strength and courage to go after Osama bin Laden. President Bush had 8 years and didn't even make it a priority. For Republicans to claim that this president doesn't take his national security responsibilities seriously is insane.
Although some experts believe Obama's policies show strong support for national security, budget allocations say differently. In 2013, the budget for Homeland Security is set to be $191 million less, and the Department of Defense budget will be $5.2 billion less. Legislative researcher at Better World Campaign Ryan Kemna says that despite budget cuts, Obama's support for national security remains.
I think it's important to keep in mind that it's not just about funding for the Department of Defense. I mean, foreign aid is also a critical part of our overall national security policy as well. And the Obama administration has been, really, focused on making sure that a lot of those accounts are fully funded.
Kemna and Zeller agree that until national security threats, like a nuclear Iran, are handled by the Obama administration, it remains to be seen just how big a factor national security will play in the upcoming election. For District News Now, I'm Trey Dyer.
Nearly 130 civilians are dead after an airplane crashed today in Pakistan. The plane crashed about miles from the airport in Islamabad on the way to an airport in the Pakistani capital. Witnesses in Rawalpindi say there is a fireball heading towards the ground. The country's Civilian Aviation Authority blames the crash on poor weather. This crash comes less than 2 years after a civilian jet crashed in the hills overlooking Islamabad. All 152 people aboard on that crash in July 2010 were killed.
Newly published photographs show U.S. troops posing with the body parts of dead insurgents in Afghanistan. The photos were taken in 2010 and show a soldier holding the severed legs of a suicide bomber. The U.S. military and civilian officers condemned the soldiers' actions, and the Army says an investigation is underway. The scandal comes after a series of blows to the U.S. military's image in Afghanistan. In January, U.S. Marines made a video urinating on Afghan corpses. In February, protests broke out after what the military said was the accidental burning of Qurans. 6 Americans were killed in response to the burnings. And last month, a U.S. soldier allegedly killed 17 civilian villagers, mainly women and children.
The U.S. Secret Service is in hot water over a prostitution scandal in Colombia. 11 Secret Service agents are under investigation for bringing prostitutes to a hotel. One of the prostitutes allegedly disputed about how much she was to be paid for the night. The dispute brought the entire incident to light and sparked controversy in the U.S. and Colombia. One former Secret Service agent says the incident is unreal.
Well, I am shocked and I am surprised because I have spent 31 years traveling on advances under 6 different presidents. I was assigned to the Presidential Protective Detail on 2 separate occasions for a total of 7 years at the White House. I supervised advance agents. I conducted advances. I had advance agents report to me in my supervisory position on the President's detail prior to a visit. As the assistant director, I had many components of the advance teams reporting to me, and I have never seen an incident like this in the 31 years of my career.
Coming up on District News Now, the most prolific NASA shuttle finds a retirement home in D.C. and a new meaning to metrosexual. Metro Police crack down on sexual harassment. All this and more after the break.
Last Thursday, the Washington Area Transit approved the increase in Metro fare. The biggest jump came with paper fare cards. A $1 surcharge will be added to any one-way trip. Here's what frequent Metro users had to say.
I don't think they have a right to raise the prices on Metro because it's already expensive as it is. If they were to raise it, I wouldn't take it anymore to work. I interned over the summer for the White House, so I would just take the bus to Farragut and walk the rest instead of taking the Metro.
The plan is expected to be approved later this month by the Washington Transit Authority. Peak Metro rails using Smart Trip fares will increase anywhere from 20 to 50 cents depending on distance traveled.
So I need to ride the Metro daily, and doing so, that obviously means that I have to invest a good amount of money in Metro. And the fact that they're raising their prices, it makes it more difficult for students and people that can't afford a vehicle.
Off-peak Metro rail fares using Smart Trips will jump anywhere from 10 cents to 75 cents, depending on distance traveled.
So it would definitely impact me in my life, especially on my work commute.
I don't like that they're doing it, but that's just the way the world works.
It will be interesting to see whether DC residents continue to ride the Metro despite the increase in prices. I'm Adam Shackett, and this is District News Now.
The state of the Nats is good. We got some solid starting pitching. The bullpen's been a little bit spottier than we would have hoped, but hopefully Drew Storen coming back will help that out before long. The injuries to Morse especially sucks, but we hope he'll make it back before too long. It's nice to have Worth finally hitting the ball well. He's up over 300, which is a huge change. Never had much hope when he was up to bat for the entire last year, but it's actually nice to see him hitting the ball well.
I think the NL East is one of the toughest divisions in baseball. You've got the Phillies, who are perennial powerhouses. Miami really rebuilt. I think they're going to do well this year. And the Mets didn't look good, but so far this season, I'm not sure you can count them out.
I think we can compete for the NL East, but it's early. You know, everybody's got injuries, but we're hitting it a little hard earlier up with the injury bug. But we'll see. I think we got a chance to compete. I don't know whether or not we'll win.
I think this is the year for the Nationals. They've put together a great pitching staff. They've got some offense that's going to keep it going this year. They've got the depth that they'll be able to keep going without Morse and without Storen for the first half of the year. With Bryce Harper coming up, this could be their year.